What's your best current health and fitness advice?
Consistency is really, there's a lot of them, but consistency is everything, man. Because everybody else is just surviving, doing the basics. But anybody else who's training on a regular basis, they get to have a much more interesting life. Like my wife and I went to Italy and we got on a bike tour for 4.5 hours.
Oh, so she's into it too.
Not as much as me, no.
I would have loved it if you're like, no, she's morbidly obese. And just happy as can
Well,
be.
I'll say it if you like.
Just happy as can be.
Yeah,
No.
she's huge.
Tosh Show. Tosh Show. Tosh Show from Show. Welcome to Tosh Show. We're back. Did you miss us? Eddie, how are you doing?
Good. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you. 2024 sucks.
Already. What happened?
I'm going to talk about gambling for a second, okay? You hear people say, like, oh, do you have a gambling problem? You know who doesn't have a gambling problem? People that win. You lose a bunch, yeah, then you have the problem. But that doesn't seem fair. It seems like if you win a ton and you're gambling constantly, that's the problem. Whether you win or lose shouldn't affect it. But the reality is, no one's ever in a gambling anonymous meeting. I just win too much. I got to find a way to, stop this. It's affecting my life. All this winning. Anyway, people get annoyed with bad beats, but this is what I'm going to do. I don't have a gambling problem. I should know because I'm around for almost all my bets. Sometimes I call in bets, have people play some for me, but whatever. So here's the bet that I made. It was basically over 3 days. This is a 5-leg parlay, okay? And I'm going to tell you the amount. It's not staggering. $100. That's an acceptable bet, right? Okay, here's what I bet. Missouri Tigers, barely in the SEC, to beat the Ohio State Buckeyes. You get plus 150 on that. I say Missouri's going to do it. Heck of a year. I'm like, the Buckeyes are going to fall. Easy money. My next bet was the Georgia Bulldogs versus the depleted Florida State Seminoles, who got hosed. But let's be honest, there's no way a third-string quarterback was going to do any damage in the playoffs. But whatever. I took the over on that. The line was 45. I think Georgia put up 170. So that was easy. Next bet, Oregon Ducks by 16.5 over Liberty. Those Christians. I was like, they're undefeated, but they're Christians, and they've got no place in football. Oregon Ducks hammer them. I got that. Okay, then this game was a bit of a sweat. The Alabama-Michigan game. Jim Harbaugh versus Nick Saban. Oh, who do you hate more? What did I bet? Oh, I bet Michigan. I was like, I hope Michigan can cover 1.5, and I got a little lucky in overtime, and they did. I got issue with Harbaugh. I'll tell you about it some other time. You want me to tell you now? He once said that any of his players, if they were going to have their girlfriends get an abortion, that he would rather them just give them the child and he would raise it. And that was insane to me. Like, I literally pray at night that thousands of student athletes get their girlfriend pregnant and give their kids to the Harbaughs, and they have to raise them all. And then I hope they grow up to be Buckeyes. Now, my last leg. Oh, man. What is it? It's Washington versus Texas. Texas is favored by 4. I bet Texas. Oh! The whole time I was furious. I see Matthew McConaughey on the sideline, and I'm just furious. I'm like, I fucking bet the wrong team. You could tell in the first few minutes, like, oh, this isn't going to work. Put that Manning kid in. Anyway, so I lost because of that last bet. Now, technically, when you have like a big parlay and it's starting to come in, and you're on the last bet, you should go bet the other team, the opposite of your bet, to cover your losses if you do lose. But whatever, I didn't do that because I only wanted to win the full amount, which was $3,352.05. And the first thing you're supposed to do to make sure you don't have a gambling problem, you're not supposed to chase your losses. So what do you think I did? Do you think I bet another $100 on something else? No, that's not that. I chase the winnings that I lost. I put $3,000 down on Washington plus covering the over in the national championship game. How you like them? Huh? Ooh. Yeah. I may have a problem. Whatever. Who cares? None of your business what I gamble. Well, I'm telling you, so then I guess that makes it your business. How's Aaron Rodgers doing, huh? What's he up to? All right. Oh, man. You know what? I would, they're always worried about these they talk about Hollywood just is infested with pedophiles. Do you guys know any pedophiles?
No.
Me neither. I guess that's why I always think it's so funny when people say it. Like, oh, you're in that Hollywood world. What are you talking? I don't know. Eddie here got 2 kids, a wife. John back there has got 2 kids, a third on the way. Everybody I know is normal. I think the problem is people, you live in a big city, you find a handful of people that are normal and you hang out with them. And if you don't hang out with them, you're the pedophile, I guess. I don't know where these pedophile groups are hanging out. But I tell you what, it'd be funny if this list comes out and I'm on it. Oh, that would be awesome.
Like, what?
That's why I never take photos with fans after shows. I don't know which one of you is a fucking pile of shit. I don't want to meet you or talk to you. Anyway.
Any New Year's resolutions, Daniel?
I do have resolutions. I don't like to discuss them. They're mainly financial. Be a richer husband, be a richer father, be a richer podcaster, stuff like that. The important stuff. No, I certainly don't care about my body. That'll never be a resolution. Oh, this is the year. No. I know a lot of people care about that stuff, but it's already the second week of January, so what's done is done. You'll like today's guest, though. He's responsible for getting millions of doughy white dudes who are too lazy to go to a gym ripped. Enjoy. Tosh Show. My guest today created the most popular home workout program of all time. He's a celebrity trainer to countless stars, and yet I still refuse to let him help me. Tony, thank you for being here.
Pleasure to be here, man.
All right, first question I ask all my guests.
Okay.
Tony, do you believe in ghosts?
Absolutely.
God damn it.
Well, only because I've had very close friends experience them in their homes.
But you've never experienced it.
Ashtray on a mantle, slid off, came down, and shattered in a billion pieces.
We live in California. Stuff falls constantly.
Well, all right. Maybe my friends are full of shit. I have to get new friends.
But has anything ever happened to you where you're like, this is obviously a ghost?
No.
See?
Well, all right.
Just so you know, I've never had a trainer in my life. I've never worked. I don't work out.
Well, you're trim and you're physical.
I'm very physical.
Yeah, so you get it a different way.
Right. Yeah. I exercise, but I never know what I would do. I have a row machine.
Yeah, those are great.
I do that at night while watching like a sport, a game that's DVR'd so I can plow through it.
Yeah.
I do intervals.
Well, there you go.
And that's it.
So you figured all that on your own. You didn't need a guy like me or one of my programs.
Yeah, but here's my question to you. I've never worked out. I'm 48 years old, I think. Could my body get, in 6 months, could I get just...
3 months, 4 months.
Could I get ripped as shit?
Absolutely.
Do I need to do steroids?
Absolutely not.
But should I?
Absolutely not.
Could I look like Chris Hemsworth?
That would take longer.
How long?
About 9 months to a year.
And I could literally...
But you'd be miserable. You'd be so miserable.
Sure.
Because it's not in your DNA.
Yeah, but
right?
I would leave my wife and I would just fucking go on a tear.
You'd be something. You'd go viral. If that's a thing that
I
you
always
care
think
about.
it's funny when actors do this, when they like for a role, they get jacked. And then when they go back to not being jacked, their bodies, something looks off. It's like, oh, your body reacted to that.
You don't want this world. You don't want to be really fit and then out of fit, because a lot of it is psychological and mental too. Because you're doing all this stuff. You've got this discipline. You've got this plan. You've got a trainer or whatever method you're trying to get there, and then it goes away, and then you're not the same person that you were. Your personality changes as you go through those massive changes. So I've been fairly fit for almost 40 years. So. Like this morning I worked out. I did 24 sets of just pull-ups and push-ups with some buddies of mine. And
24 sets of pull-ups?
And push-ups, yeah. So 12 and 12.
Total, how many pull-ups did you do?
The pull-ups today were 13 pull-ups and 23 push-ups every single time. The routine's called The Challenge out of one of my workouts.
Okay.
It's easy because it's just all body weight and gravity, and you just go as hard as you can.
I used to do pull-ups, but then I don't like that it would put calluses on my fingers.
Well, that's weird, but okay.
What do you mean weird?
Who cares?
You don't care. I
1, 2,
care.
3.
When people shake my hand, I like them to know that I've never worked.
Shake my hand. How's that feel? Feels all right?
You like how loose I go?
That's weird.
Yeah.
But my calluses weren't weird for you, were they?
No, I mean, they weren't weird, but I feel like maybe you've just built up some tolerance.
I have.
You shave your arms?
I do.
Okay.
I do.
I shave everything.
Oh, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Why do you do it?
I don't know. Cleanliness?
Yeah.
Is maybe where I'm at.
Looks cool. It looks better.
I mean, I have chest hair, but I shave down the arm, not shave the armpits, clippers with no guard. So it basically goes away, but it's,
yeah.
And then
I leave the armpits alone for the most part.
I don't like it. I don't like it when your arms are down and you see a tuft of hair hanging out.
Thank God I don't have tufts.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Do you actually enjoy working out?
Most of the time, no.
Okay.
No. But I like the way it makes me feel. It allows me to ski hard and climb well. And
ski hard. Snow ski?
Snow ski, yeah.
Oh, I love skiing.
I do too.
When you're flying down a mountain going so fast, I think it's so hysterical because like if something were to go wrong and my body is starting to like roll, I just know that it would just be disaster.
Bad
but
things
guess
can
what?
happen.
I still do it every year. I still fly out of control speeds through woods.
Through the
I'm just
glades.
in the trees and I'm like, a few years ago I hit a tree so hard, snapped it. It was probably only about this big, but snapped it. It was just brutal. And I'm just laying on the ground screaming, going, oh. And then, but eventually you have to just get up and go down the hill.
You got to go. Get somebody to drag you down.
No, I was deep in the woods. Nobody was anywhere near us. This was.
Well, this
I was
past
gonna
season,
die.
somebody hit me so hard, it dislocated the ligaments in my collarbone. Just
Skiing or
Yeah,
punching you?
skiing. He just
Oh.
didn't, he blindsided me.
Sure.
He didn't see me and I went down. That was painful. Where do you go skiing? Where do you like to go?
I live in Tahoe.
Oh, which mountain in Tahoe?
Well, I mean, I don't want to tell people my home mountain,
Oh,
but it's
right, right,
alpine.
Mine's Jackson Hole, Wyoming.
Nice.
Yeah, I love it there.
Alpine's
Alpine's great.
Well, Alpine got it's part of Palisades,
Right, which also got renamed.
which was squaw.
Squaw.
But that's a derogatory term for a Native American girl. And then the locals they're just like, well, I'm going to always call it squaw. And I'm like, well, why? Why not just say, oh, I didn't know that? And okay, if
and now I'm learning something and I can change. But,
sure,
yeah.
I don't have a problem calling it I like Palisades.
Palisades
better.
is a great name.
Sure.
Yeah.
But you have to turn on Squaw Drive.
Do you really?
I think so.
Oh my goodness.
Well, they have a lot of streets to change. There's a lot.
That's amazing.
Where are you originally from?
Born in Rhode Island, but grew up in Connecticut, East Coast.
How's growing up in Connecticut?
Okay. Where are you from?
I mean, I lived everywhere, but Florida is kind of where I moved from.
We lived everywhere too. My father was in the Army and moved from.
My dad would just get fired.
So that was mine too, a little bit.
So he'd just find a new job.
Yeah, ours was like that too, a little bit.
No, he said he was getting transferred, but I don't know that was actually true.
I didn't know as a kid either. That's funny. Yeah. Yes. We moved 6 times before 5th grade.
13 times before I was 12.
Damn. Wow.
And countries, like 4 or 5 different countries.
Maybe your dad was a criminal or something.
I mean, he was. He worked for the church.
Okay. Well.
For a long time, he worked for the church. Then he worked at McDonnell Douglas, I believe.
Oh.
And then he worked for NASA. But human resources, he wasn't a rocket scientist.
Yeah,
or
my
anything.
dad was a plastics engineer, just like The Graduate. You know?
Uh-huh.
He worked for Owens Corning Fiberglass and companies like that.
Were you physically gifted as a child?
Not even close.
No.
Not at all.
Could you fight?
No.
Did you ever get in a fight?
I got in lots of fights.
What do you mean lots?
People beat me up.
For real?
Yeah.
Was that just the neighborhood or the time?
It was the neighborhood. It was the kids in the neighborhood. I had a speech impediment, which made life difficult.
What was the speech impediment, may I ask?
Something called cluttering.
Uh-huh.
Just talking really fast and the words all piling up on top of each other, and then the stammering would come. So they would make, kids, oh, look, there's a flaw. Let's make fun of them and push them around.
I think I got into comedy because of my hatred of bullies.
Oh, wow. I probably got fit because of it.
Did you win any of the fights?
No. No, I did not. Not really. I was about to get beat up once, and I got really loud and, took on a posture, and the kid backed down.
Oh.
I was like, this kid, Nick Vancho, wherever you are, buddy.
Let me tell you about T.J. Miller. Is it T.J. Miller a real person? Yes. That's a comic. All right, not that guy. Right. This guy, T.J., in St. Louis, Missouri, he was new, moved in, and all of a sudden he just started fighting everybody in the neighborhood. He was like, this was 6th grade. I went to Sperring Middle School, and it was like a guy that read the book 101 on going to prison. Like, you just fight everybody day one. Wow. Anyway, he came up to me in the cafeteria and just punched me in the mouth, and I didn't do anything. And this girl was standing next to me, and she's like, "What? Why did you do that?" And I'm like, "I don't know." But I didn't hit him back, and I didn't fight because I didn't want to start fighting because then I would get in trouble. So it's the one time in my life that I feel like I was in a fight, I got punched, and I didn't do anything.
Were you in many fights?
No, never.
That was really kind of the one, huh?
Which is weird because I've always wasn't afraid to say horrible things to people if I felt like I was attacked.
That's why I used to get in fights. I would say just something to poke at somebody,
right,
which was stupid because I'm instigating getting my own ass kicked. But they were just bullies, and I felt like they shouldn't get away with it.
When did you leave Connecticut?
1980.
How old are you?
I'm 65.
Man.
Yeah, man.
You look great for 65, I guess. I don't know.
I
you
don't
live
know.
in L.A.
Yeah.
You should look good.
The lighting in here is great. My wife put the makeup on, and this is who I am.
What about your hair? You've always
it's
had
all
good
mine.
hair?
I have good hair. This is the color that it grows out. I do dye this part of my beard, though.
What about any work, physical reconstruction in your body at all?
This is just me.
You never had
nothing on purpose.
You never had the face yanked on or anything
No
like that?
yank, man. That's why I grow the beard to kind of cover the flaws in there.
Neck don't lie.
Neck don't lie, baby. That's that might get done one of these days.
I don't think they can do it properly.
Well, yeah. Well, I have a friend whose mom did it. She looks ridiculous. And I said, "Who's your guy? I want to know who your guy is." But I don't think I'm there yet.
Is life? Hey, you enjoying it, or are you somebody that's always looking back on the past? Or you're like, no, the best years are to come?
I've had good years. I had 20 years with one company making all my workout programs. That came to an end, unfortunately, and I had to kind of reinvent myself. And the reinvention process has been hard. It's been a struggle, but we've had some more wins than losses. So I feel like I'm very fortunate.
First of all, so you moved out here in 1980. Oh man, talk about the cocaine.
There was some. There was a lot of weed, and there was a lot of beer. And there was some vodka. But I stopped all that about 30 years ago.
You moved out to Los Angeles to chase your dream. What was your dream?
I wanted your life.
Well,
yeah, I wanted to do stand-up and movies and TV and yada yada. I modeled a little, and I did some commercials, and I had bit parts in some movies. But I wasn't ambitious. I attempted stand-up for a couple of years, and it was a bear, man. It was really, let's see, Horton, you get 11:30, and you get there at 6 o'clock, and you're sitting around talking to other wannabe comics. I mean, you probably know the drill. And you're up there, and there's 4 people left, and they're shit-faced, and you go, oh, my God, here we go. And you get your 6 minutes. And then we do showcases, me and about 5 others, which, you'd pack the room with your friends. And a lot of my stuff was very physical and irreverent and probably stuff you can't even do anymore.
What were some of the odd jobs you took on as soon as you came out to L.A.?
Well, I was a street performer. I was a kind of an X-rated mime. So I'd go down to the Santa Monica Pier, I'd go into Westwood or UCLA, and I'd get up, put my hat out, and I'd make $25. And I'd do that a couple times a week so I could eat.
You were an X-rated mime.
Yeah. Not always. I mean, I did the box, and I walked in the wind and all that other stuff. But a lot of it was, imaginary women that were in front of me, and and there'd be another one. It was pretty.
Would people steer their children away from you?
Yeah, a lot of them would. Out on the pier, that didn't go well. But if I did a show, right? I just play 9 Inch Nails and I'd turn it up and I'd go crazy and do that. Bit.
A show for what?
Like showcases, like little, there'd be a Monday night and me and my 5 friends would rent a bar because it was a slow night and we talked to the owner and whatever, we would do that. And we'd invite all our friends and we would do our acts.
This is interesting here. I didn't even know that was a thing.
It was. I don't know if it is now, but it was.
I wonder how much you could make down in Venice right now.
I always would quit when I had about $25. I just couldn't, because you're down there. When you're performing for food to survive, it's not the same as if, you're just doing it because it's your gig and you're having fun with it. It wasn't fun. It was, you put the makeup on, it's 95 degrees, I got all black on and a vest and a hat and yada, yada. And
it wasn't 95 degrees down in Santa Monica.
Maybe not in the 80s, no. But
no, it never was. It's still not. Not even, it's a comfortable 82 max.
Okay.
At least you weren't the guy in the silver.
It's
too much. All right, so how did you get into the whole working out craze of everything?
So I was at that point, one of the many jobs I had, I was a runner over at Fox at PA, and I was working for a guy by the name of Harlan Goodman, who used to be a music guy. And I'm on the lot, and I'm feeding the cats, I'm hiding the weed, I'm making the coffee, I'm delivering the scripts, whatever I did. That was my gig. And he was noticing my transformation. He's like, "Holy shit, man, in the last 3 months, you look totally different. Can you help me?" I wasn't a trainer. I didn't know what I was doing. I just, I went to my buddy's garage and he had some dumbbells in there. And so I trained Harlan and he lost about 45 pounds. And I went, maybe I'm a trainer now. Shit. And so I trained him and a few others. And then he went back to music because he and Julia couldn't make a movie to save their life over at Fox. And Tom Petty was walking down the hall and saw Harlan and said, "Holy shit, this is my Tom Petty, by the way. You look fantastic. I'm fat. I'm going on tour. Can you help me?" So Harlan told Tom Petty to call me. So Petty calls me up. My roommate Bob picks up the phone, and we had buddies downstairs that were jokesters, and he goes, "Dude, there's somebody downstairs, effing around saying they're Tom Petty. Go hang up." So Bob hung up on Tom, and then he called back, and I went to his house the next day and started training Tom, and I had him for 4 months. He went off on tour. He got ripped and striated and tore all the sleeves off his shirts, and everybody went, "What the hell happened to Tom Petty?" And that was how it got started.
That's amazing. I'm a fan of Tom Petty. He's a Gainesville guy.
Yeah.
I guess, R.I.P. Why? He doesn't strike me as somebody that would have cared about his body.
No. Well, because he saw Harlan's big change right in front of him in a hallway at Easton Management. He was like, okay. And I went to Tom's house the next day and he put out the cigarette and said, "I don't work out. What am I supposed to do?" So I got him a bench. I got him a life cycle. I got him a heavy bag. I got him some dumbbells. And we just, he went and we would just bullshit and train. And it was horrible. The first month, he didn't know what he was doing. He was like a noodle, But then he just got into it, you know what I mean? And I'm not a drill sergeant. I'm not your therapist. I'm just your buddy here trying to help you get through this.
How long is Tom Petty working out?
4 months.
Now, how many hours
I was
session?
There hour 15 every day, 5 days a week.
5 days a week?
Monday through Friday, yeah. I trained him for 32 years, on and off.
Really?
Yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that he wanted to work out confuses me.
Well,
did you work on his diet and everything? Did you know about that kind of stuff? Or
I'm not a nutritionist or an endocrinologist. I just
made mimes.
I was a mime training Tom Petty, getting him ready for a worldwide tour.
Right. That's what I'm confused by. Like, how did you know how to do this stuff?
Because I had been exercising for years. I went to World Gym in Venice, and there's Lou Ferrigno and Arnold, and I would just spy on everybody who looked really fit and lean. And I do my own research too. I mean, this is before the internet even existed. So I had to go into the library and get books and read about kinesiology and exercise science.
So you're a smart person.
Not really.
I mean, you figured that stuff out.
I thought, this is better than doing mime on the pier. This is better than, go-go dancing at Chippendales. This is better than building furniture. This is better.
Were you a Chippendale?
I was a go-go dancer, not a performer, not a regular. I had a different. When the club closed, I'd get in a box about this size, and I would dance on the box.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think.
I felt like as that came out, I needed to whisper it. I don't know why. I just didn't feel.
All right. So this, from the day your agent said, "Hey, skinny pudgy boy," to training Tom Petty was how many years?
Maybe a year. Maybe only about a year.
I mean, that's impressive then.
Yeah. I mean,
All right, so did you tell him how to eat and stuff?
I made suggestions. I said, hey, look, part of the problem is what you're eating. So the little I know about it is let's just I made a list of the things you should avoid and then all the way down to things that were sort of neutral, like, yeah, you can have these things once in a while, to just fruits, vegetables, whole grains, and lean proteins and healthy fats. So I just gave him a list of foods, and he had his own chef, right? He had his own people. So they made a little shift, and that was part of his success for sure.
Where
But
was he living?
He's an
Where was he
ectomorph.
living?
Woodland Hills, up in the hills, looking into the valley.
How nice was the place?
It was, big long driveway, gates open up, boom, gold records and platinum records on the walls.
Damn it. I got a short driveway. I have a real short driveway.
So
and
do I.
I always hated that about it, the property I went with. No one's impressed. It's like, the gate opens and it's like you can just fit a car on the other side of the gate. And that's not impressive.
Not as
No
long,
one's-
the
no
long
one's-
ones are great, man.
Right. No one's telling a story about my driveway.
Yeah.
Bruce Springsteen.
Yes.
You trained him?
Yes, I did.
Was he a bitch on leg days?
That's a great question. No.
All right.
No, he was into it more than I was, actually.
Is it not fun if the person despises it?
Oh, I mean, I can name names, but holy crap! I mean, you're just babysitting sometimes. It's brutal for some because they.
Well, to me, that's why you would like if I was motivated, I wouldn't fucking need you. It's just here's the thing: you say you like the way working out makes you feel at the end. That's always been my problem. Working out or any exercise where it's just an exercise just makes me sleepy.
Oh wow!
Like
I can see that.
I just get
well,
tired.
partly because your body reacts that way when it's not used to it. But then then after a while, that starts to go away. You go from sleepy to energized, especially if you're adding good warm-ups, good cool-downs. You're not overtraining. You're not lifting too hard. You're not trying to,
Do you need to stretch before you work out?
A lot of people do. Some people don't.
Oh, great answer.
Yeah.
I
mean, if
wanna
you're
know.
a former gymnast or a ballerina, you don't need as much usually.
Yoga, where are you at on yoga?
All the time, every Friday, hour and a half. It's so important.
How did you come about inventing the P90X, the whole thing? I want to hear about that.
Well, I had been, I was working a little bit. I was working with Nordic Track, going back and forth to Minneapolis. I had a show on the Playboy channel called Playboy 360 where I was the host. So it was a 3-camera show with teleprompters and a co-host. So I was learning how to, be more comfortable in front of a camera, in front of an audience, all that kind of a thing.
Did you get to have sex with a playmate in your lifetime?
There was one that I used to view in college who ended up being my makeup artist on the show. Like, so here she is in front of me.
Okay.
But I was dating somebody. the whole time I worked there.
So you've never dated a playmate in your life?
I did.
Uh-huh. Did you like
did.
that?
It was nice.
Sure.
Yeah.
You go back to that in your Rolodex?
No, not that one. I don't go back to that one.
You don't go that? All right. So you're doing Nordic Track.
Yeah, and so I was just, getting better at that kind
That
of
was
thing.
a dumb machine.
No, it was silly. It was silly.
It was on the wood. It was on the rollers.
Yep, and it was just this over and over and over again. But whatever, it was a gig. So I would fly to Minneapolis about 6 or 7 times, and I would be their on-camera spokesperson dude. And then that was an experience, and I had that show that helped me out. And then one of the gigs was just this young entrepreneur that said, "Hey, man, I'd like you to be the main trainer in this really inexpensive little thing called Great Body Guaranteed." It was a $2,000 gig, and that was that. And then we put it out into the world, and then people noticed it, started making money. So he said, let's do another one, which is kind of rare because most things that end up on an infomercial die a horrible death. So we did something called Power 90, and he gave me some time to develop that. And he said to me, he's like, when you're working with Petty or Idol or Bruce or Annie Lennox or whatever these types, can you recreate that in front of a TV without all the extra accoutrement, with just the dumbbells and some bands? And so, yeah, sure, it's a gig, I'll figure it out. And I did. And then that thing, I lived in the same apartment for 21 and a half years, and that Power 90.
21 and a half, was it rent controlled?
1438 15th Street, Santa Monica, rent-controlled apartment. Car got broken to like at least twice a month. It was, it was the hood sort of where I was.
Well,
Not really.
The nicest of hoods, but yes.
Yeah. And then Power 90 came out, and I was getting royalties at that point, and I was able to move on and get a real home. And after that, we thought, like, what's next? And then, I thought it was a bad idea making Power 90 harder. And we said, let's call it P90X. Let's add pull-ups. Let's add martial arts. So he gave me a full 8 months to develop that program. And when we first put it out there, it died because people went, holy crap, that's way too hard. I'm not going to do that. But then there was these devotees that went, oh, shit, that thing's real. And they started submitting their before and after pictures and their own little video. And we took that footage and their photos and we put it in the infomercial. And it went from, and it was on every channel 24 hours. And
now, were you, did you have a stake in this?
yeah, I got development money, and I also got I got a piece of the pie every month. I get a check every month.
Jackpot, would you say? P90X?
Apparently, it was the biggest fitness program in history, something like that.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, in my office back in the day, there was one copy of it that we all pirated.
Yeah, a lot of pirated. It was at one point, for whatever, some 6-month period of time, it was the single most pirated DVD in the world.
That's something.
And I would sign them, and I go, that's pirate. I could tell. I used to go to D.C. and train all the senators and congressmen when I was there. I used to go to the Pentagon and train folks there, and they'd go, "Hey, can you sign my thing?" And I go, "Congressman, this is a pirated copy."
During the P90X thing, let me just get a few of these right here. We had a Crunchy Frog, Super Skater, Spin Squat. Looking back, do you wish you would have spent a little more time coming up with names for these exercises?
Yeah. Okay. Well, most exercises are called like latissimus dorsi, lat pulls, and the most traditional names were dull. And I would add names because I go, this name sucks. We got to get a better name here.
What about people that did these workouts in their apartments? And
a lot of people who live below were very unhappy. I've heard those stories a lot.
Seems like a nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, plyometrics, for example, which is just jumping. So you're just for an hour. People below are taking the broomstick and going, stop.
Is every door frame a gym to you?
Was that an intended spit take right there almost? Not everyone, no, because some aren't strong enough. Like
that's what I wanted to know.
That one wouldn't hold up.
Did you ever guys get like sued for people collapsing from their doors?
We had a few lawyers who were working really hard at times, yeah.
Yeah, you can't just hang from any door.
No. The device that we created was pretty unique, pretty special, but it didn't work on every door, no.
Here's my thing with pull-ups too. If I can touch the floor, I will. You know what I'm saying?
You got to bend your knees. So
that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to do that.
Why not?
Because it's just like when people go running, and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I don't want to run anymore, so I just stop running
or start walking.
Right?
Instead. Yeah.
It's like I need to be. For me to do pull-ups properly, I need to be hanging off of a building.
So you're an all or nothing guy, all the way.
Yeah. If there's no consequences, it seems stupid not to just put your feet down.
So you're going to need a taller doorway then.
Seriously. Did you feel that P90X was kind of the precursor to CrossFit?
Absolutely was. I didn't mean it to be, but that's what happened. A lot of people who went through P90X felt like, oh, wow, look who I am now. I've gotten really fit. And a lot of people did P90X 2, 3, 4, 5, 15 times. Mm-hmm. And then a lot of those folks all made their way over to CrossFit. And the bummer about CrossFit for a lot of folks is they started getting hurt.
Is CrossFit stupid?
For some people, it saves their life. For some people, it's amazing and incredible, and the community and all of that's great. But a lot of people end up getting hurt because they're just overdoing it a little bit,
Do you flip a tire? Is that your thing?
Not my thing. I don't have a tire. I don't flip tires. But when I took a class, here I am flipping tires. So
where do they get all these old tractor tires from, huh?
I don't know.
You ever got inside of a tire and rolled down a hill? You want to talk about a rush?
Have you? You've done it on your show.
Well, no, I've been in tubes before and went rolling down a hill as a kid. That was so much fun. What about the shake weight? Did you ever try it?
Nope.
You never touched one?
Never didn't seemed silly to me.
Oh, man, you could mime that thing perfectly.
I just did.
Dumber exercise, the shake weight or the Thigh Master?
I was in the Thigh Master commercial. That was one of my first
The original
jobs.
ones?
The original one.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right. Fuck, marry, kill. Suzanne Summers, Body by Jake, Billy Blanks.
Oh God!
I know. Well, it's not an easy question.
Suzanne Summers,
which one?
The one I would have sex with. Yeah.
Well, you can have sex with your wife, Mary. You could marry her. You don't pick her to marry.
No, I'm already married. I wouldn't.
No, this is hypothetical. This isn't real. All right, so you're gonna fuck Suzanne Summers. Okay, then which one are you marrying? Body by Jake or Billy Blanks?
I'd marry Jake. And I'd kill Billy.
Oh man, R.I.P. Billy. How do you feel about steroids?
It's just trouble. The future is going to be a problem if you're going to be doing that.
What about in Venice Beach in the '80s when you saw Muscle Beach? Like you saw everything.
Yeah, it was all going down, and they're still being abused today.
Sure,
it's all about ego and looks, and when you exercise, it's norepinephrine, dopamine, serotonin, something called brain-derived neurotropic factor (BDNF), which gets released out of the temporal lobe of your brain. And when I read this book, Spark, by Dr. John Rady years ago, I was like, oh shit, this is why I should be working out now. Not because I'm chasing girls or trying to have big arms or any of that silliness.
The chasing girls part, that's where I always I always
Yeah, but they didn't care about that. They cared about
no.
You were funny. You were smart. That's why
Exactly.
That's why I wanted to be with you.
The reason I never worked out was because the women that I was attracted to, I could get. If I couldn't get them, if they were like, no, you're not strong enough to date me, I would have gotten stronger.
Oh, wow.
Do you know what I'm saying?
But then again, I'm thinking back in the day, it was easy for you.
Not easy.
You're a handsome guy.
Sure.
You're a funny
I'm not
guy.
ugly. I'm not ugly, but I'm not.
But it's, women they want a personality. They want somebody who's got a reason for being on this earth. You know what I mean?
You know what it is? I'll tell you physically.
I mean, in LA, it's a little different.
I'm tall.
Yeah, tall's good.
Tall offsets muscles on some level.
Tall's good. And I'm only medium height.
We call that short in the tall world.
That's why I have muscles, because I'm only 5'10".
5'9".
I'm 5'10".
All right.
I used to be 5'10" and a half, but I've lost a half an inch.
Oh, isn't that weird how that happens?
Yeah.
I can't wait. I don't think I'm starting to shrink yet, but I look forward to it. What's your best current health and fitness advice?
Consistency is really, there's a lot of them, but consistency is everything, man. The more you do, the better you get, right? The less you do, the more complicated it is, the more frustrated you'll be. So if you're going to, if you really want to be fit and healthy, it's got to be constant. Like people say, hey, man, how often? And I say all the time, all the time, like breathing and eating and paying your bills and going to work all the time, because everybody else is just surviving, doing the basics. But anybody else who's training on a regular basis, they get to have a much more interesting life. Like my wife and I went to Italy, and we got on a bike tour for 4.5 hours, and we did the same thing in
Oh, so she's into it too.
Not as much as me, no.
I would have loved it if you're like, no, she's morbidly obese, and just happy as can be.
I'll say it if you like.
Just happy as can be.
Yeah,
No,
she's huge.
no, but she's into fitness too. Then,
not as much as me.
well, if I don't work out though, is there any reason to start? If you're saying like, oh, it has to be constant, because constant seems so overwhelming to me that I'm like, well, then I'm not going to start.
5 to 6 days a week, something.
What do you think about taking a walk with your dog?
That's great. Yeah,
it's not good enough.
Yeah, sure it is.
I always I give every guest on the show a gift.
I would love that.
Right. So this is
Oh shit.
this is a it's never been used. In Venice Beach, they play this paddle tennis game.
That's not a pickleball.
No, it's not pickleball.
Different.
I play pickleball. And so this person goes, oh, this isn't pickleball. It's a different game. I go, I don't fucking want a different sport.
I got a sport already.
Right.
Yeah.
So he's like, no, it's a good paddle. So it's over $100, I think. Here, this is your paddle.
Thank you.
And
Is
I'm
it loud like pickleball?
no, I don't think so. You play with like a dead tennis ball or something like that.
Oh.
They only play it in Venice Beach.
They got Venice Beach managed to have their special paddles made for just them.
But it's right. You know what I'm talking about? Those courts that are right next to like Muscle
Yeah,
Beach.
I always thought that was pickleball.
It's
but
not pickleball. It's this. Put it on the floor. But that's your paddle now. But he's going to be mad at me when he listens to this episode and sees
Who
that I
gave
gave
you
it.
that?
Yeah, my wife's cousin. He's a good guy. But you don't try to introduce me to something new.
I see that.
Will you give that away?
Probably. If you had signed it though, it would have been.
I'll sign it.
Will you?
Yeah, sure.
I'll
But
talk
where's it going to show up? It's a black paddle.
Because it'll be a little
I put
token, a
some thought
little
into
memory.
it because I was like, Venice Beach.
I can show up down to Venice Beach with that paddle and look like I know
people
what
will
I'm
be
doing.
so confused about, is this guy going to go work out or is he going to go play? They won't. They don't
So many
understand.
options for me down there.
How's that gym on the beach? Is it just complete garbage?
It's the right thing for the right people who do it, but it's not. Lifting heavy weights, rusty old,
They're so rusty.
sand-filled weights, and a lot of those guys are using the roids. And
then the smell of the homeless shit.
It's funky down there. Yeah.
What did you think about Venice during the pandemic? That was sad, wasn't it?
I don't even know what happened. What happened?
I mean, it's just a shell of itself,
Right.
Of especially what you saw.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been down there in, I bet you, 20 years.
Oh,
I haven't been down there in 20 years. When I first moved here, I was in Santa Monica and Venice all the time. I was
Right.
at the beach all the time.
for
Because
21
it was
years.
Such a novelty having grown up on the East Coast.
I always think it's weird when people move to California, but don't move all the way. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, we're gonna live in what's the hipster area? Silver Lake. Like what? You're moving out west. Go all the way. Get to the water. I'm a beach person.
Yeah. Oh, so well.
I've surfed my whole life. That's all I care
That
about.
explains that, yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
don't touch the board.
Okay. Where's your favorite surf spot?
I won't tell you.
Do you go to like Hanalei Bay and do it there? Or?
No, I don't like to travel for surfing. I like to be
stay
near my
here.
house. Yeah, that's what I like.
So you're a
about
Malibu guy.
Yeah, I don't like traveling.
Yeah.
It's like too much.
Have you ever had Laird Hamilton on your?
Yeah, I surf with Elerick every day.
Oh no,
I've
shit.
never had him on my show though.
I don't know him well. I know Gabby a little bit better than Laird.
Anyway, what did you do? You worked out with him?
Yeah, they have an Olympic-sized pool, and they do a lot of underwater with dumbbells and breathing, and it's intense. It's a little bit scary.
Is it just underwater because you're not tall?
Ah, damn. Well, there's a low end and a deep end. You wouldn't be tall enough in the deep end either.
Is every side a deep end?
Damn, dude. I'm 5'10". I'm not 5'1".
No, you're
Come
not.
on.
You're. I think technically the average height of men in this
5'8".
country is 5'8". Ah, you're right.
Don't think a guy 5'10" doesn't know that.
Yeah, if we don't need to look it up, we know it's 5'8".
That's right.
Have you seen that commercial about bent carrots?
Yes, I have. Yes, I have. What do they call that? They call that
I don't know why I think this is in your wheelhouse, but this
bent carrots.
Yeah, because
Why is that in my wheelhouse?
I don't know anybody because you had an
not
infomercial.
carrots they're talking about.
You had an infomercial about your body. I assume bent carrots.
I have a friend who has the bent carrot thing.
Ah,
yeah.
really?
I mean, the fact that it just came up in conversation once, and he says my wife likes it. I said, okay, his wife likes it.
It must be hooked up.
That would make it better, I guess. Yeah.
Right, a hard left is a tough sell.
We didn't get it into the direction so much, so I don't know.
Oh, hey, I want to talk about your disease.
Oh gosh, yeah.
Ramsay Hunt type 2 severe. What was it?
Ramsay Hunt syndrome. It affects your vision, your smell, your taste, and your balance. It's like vertigo because vertigo's this is this inside your brain all the time. So if I tried to look right, I'd have to go that way, and then I'd have to go super slow because if I went like this, it would just the shakiness and the nausea would just kick in, and then wham, you know.
How did you get it? How do you get
stress? This pure. If you have a chickenpox virus in your body, and you get it's shingles. It's shingles in your ear. So you can get
My
shingles.
mom's had shingles. Man, she complains about it.
Brutal. So it's burning. It's burning all the time. It's like lighters on your skin the whole time. I had this whole ear was just open, pussy, awful sores, and it affected the 5th, 6th, and 7th cranial nerves that affect your sight and your smell and your taste and your balance. So it was going into my brain. And so nerves are weird. They'll take their good time to heal or not. A lot of people, I had Bell's palsy for a while, which is a great look for an on-camera guy.
Yeah.
And mine went away, but a lot of people's don't. Justin Bieber's is still around a little bit if you look at him.
Okay, but so he definitely had it.
He definitely had it.
Right.
And also Feinstein, Senator Feinstein.
She did P90X.
She did not.
No.
But the Obamas did.
The Obamas did?
The Obamas did.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Michelle looks like a definite after photo. How old right now are you going to live?
The number I use, you're probably going to give me some shit for, but I think maybe 109.
Huh.
But I mean, look, I feel better at 65 than I did at 55 or 45 or 35 because I keep making little adjustments with my diet and my mindfulness and my breathing techniques and my hydration and my supplementation and my electrolytes and my foam rolling and all my cold plunges. I'm always
You're doing all that stuff.
Yeah. I'm open to trying things that make me feel better and function better.
If I was going to guess how long you were going to live, you said 109?
I'm probably late 80s or early 90s.
My guess is 66.
Wow.
No.
Well, I got things to do.
Wait a second. That's a great question. Hold on. If you knew you were only going to live one more year, would you keep doing all this stuff?
No, if I had one more year, I would start planning the worldwide tour. I'd go ski in the Alps. I'd go ski in South America. I would go to, I would spend a lot of time in Jackson Hole.
I get it, but I'm saying the workout stuff, the cold plunges. Would you stop doing a cold plunge?
Well, if it helped me continue to push the envelope with everything else, I probably would do some version of it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I just didn't know if it was it's just such a part of your life and that you enjoyed it so much. It's no, it's not an ends to a means.
I mean, with a year left.
All right, fucking 5 years.
For 5 years, then I'd keep doing what I'm doing, and
All
I'd keep
right.
experimenting with new ideas that maybe might help me too.
Are you trying to cheat death?
No, death's coming, and I'm all right with that. And
Don't you think we'll
I
be
hope
able to
it's
just download our brains onto something and then put it into a new body?
it'd be kind of cool if I could live long enough so that whatever they come up with, I can.
I'm all for that. Well, listen, this has been.
Was I any good?
You're
today?
wonderful.
Oh, thank you.
I appreciate your time and your outlook, and I wish you the best.
Appreciate likewise, man.
Thanks, man. Tosh Show. All right, Carl, we did it. My wonderful dog is here. Had a big scare last week. Somehow he got into my neighbor's second-story balcony. Oh, yeah. I only looked an hour and a half for you. Trying to see if you're, shame. Tony was great. Thanks for being on the show and for changing my body physically. We did a before shot before the interview of my body, and then we did one after. And you can see that Tony completely transformed me. Got some plugs. The charitable clothing line, Boys Wear Pink. Can't wait for somebody to buy me out on that. That's kind of the goal. I'm performing in Los Angeles May 4th at the Dolby Theater. It's part of the Netflix Is a Joke Comedy Festival. Get tickets soon. They're going fast. I mean, not like one of those people who's like, oh, I was on sale for 8 minutes and sold out. No, I don't sell out until day of. Hopefully. And finally, as a reminder, people have heard me explain this before, but if this is the first time listening, I want you to understand. When my son was 3 years old, I recorded him every night telling me a bedtime story because I thought the way he mispronounced words and the way he talked was so sweet and cute, and I knew that one day that would go away. He's a few years older now. So these are older stories from my son at night. Then I animated them, and I didn't do it. Eddie did it, but the animation is not very good. Whatever. See you guys next week.
You wanted me to tell you the really short stories?
Sure, tell me a really short story.
One time, a rabbit jumped over the wall, but the rabbit didn't know how to jump over the wall, so he decided to make a ramp. He rided himself on a bike. The end.
How am I supposed to go to bed after hearing that story?
Then there's a long story, and then it might be wake up time then, okay?
Right, thanks.
Tosh Show.
Tosh Show. Tosh Show for show.